Hi, I'm Holden Parker, and this is the second video for the Rec Center Basketball Officials Training. We're going to start picking up kind of where we left off last time. We're going to go right into player control and continue from there. Hope you guys enjoy it. One aspect of officiating that's really important to understand is player control. You need to know whether or not the player has control of the ball in order to make the accurate ruling. That's pretty easy to do. Is he holding the ball? If so, player control. Is he dribbling the ball? Yes, player control. Those are the two times when the player has control of the ball. Now you have another type of control called team control. And that's when you have player control, a player's dribbling or holding the ball, or between passes. If he's passing the ball to one of his players, or the intent is to pass it to one of his players, they have team control still. Now another time there's team control, but no player control, is if he's dribbling, he dribbles it off his knee. You still have team control, but there's not player control. He can pick the ball back up. If he picks it up, he can't start his dribble, but if he picks it up and continues to dribble, that's completely legal right there. Now the next aspect I'm going to talk about is the intentional foul call. The most common time this foul is called is at the end of the game, when there's really not much time left on the clock. One team's trying to get the advantage, trying to get the ball back, so it's an intentional shove. There's no play on the ball. And that's usually the only time that you'll see a call made in an intramural game like that. But that's not the only time the foul is committed. One thing we have to work on as officials is calling fouls all the time regardless of the point of the game. An intentional foul is any act, whether it be pushing, whether it be pulling a guy's jersey, or just coming right down on a guy's arm, where they're not making an attempt at the ball. Now of course coming down on an arm can be seen as an attempt for the ball, but if he's clearly just doing it to stop the dribbler, not trying to gain possession of the ball, then it's an intentional foul. And the protocol for that is you call it an intentional foul. The team getting fouled will take 2 shots, and they'll get the ball back at the point of interruption. Meaning if I'm over here, and I shove someone out like this, they'll get 2 shots, and the ball in play right over here. Similarly, if you're up there, you get it to the sidelines, so on and so forth, as I already explained with how to put the ball in play. Now another very important aspect of basketball is whether or not you're traveling. And you have to know exactly where your pivot foot is in order to tell if you're traveling or not. Right now I have no pivot foot. I have not moved either foot. I can move either one if I want right now. As soon as I pick up my right foot, my left foot is now my pivot foot. That has to stay on the ground as long as I want to keep moving. Now, the one thing that is deceiving, still having my pivot foot here, I can pick my pivot foot up. I'm still legal right now. Alright? I can pass the ball, I can shoot the ball, but now I can no longer dribble. If I dribble, it's a travel. And if I set that pivot foot back down, that is also a travel. That's one of the more confusing aspects of a travel, getting down to the nuts and bolts of it, if you will, and exactly what it needs to be. Now there's a new type of move, I guess it's relatively new, past 2 or 3 years, called the Euro step. And this one's a very hard move to officiate, because essentially they're taking advantage of the semantics of a travel, which is completely legal, in order to create in order to try to go around another player. So what they do, essentially, I'm going to try it, don't laugh too hard, they'll be dribbling the ball, and that was legal until my 3rd step. So what they're doing is they're dribbling into the lane I'm obviously going the wrong way, but they're dribbling into the lane or trying to get around somebody for a layup, and when they're airborne, so neither feet are touching the ground, they stop their dribble. And they come down on their first foot, which is then their pivot foot, and they go to the other foot, the defender's over here, and then they go in for the layup. And as long as that pivot foot doesn't touch the ground again, it's a completely legal play. But when it's going really fast, it's a hard one to officiate. So you got to keep your eyes open on when the dribble ends. Now that's going to go right into the next section I want to cover, which is continuous motion. If you have a player doing the Euro step, for example, he comes in, dribbles, one step, two step, hasn't shot the ball yet technically, and then gets pushed right here, that's still going to be a shooting foul because he was in the motion of shooting. Once you gather the ball to yourself in an attempt to get up to make the shot, you are then in the act of shooting, and any foul committed on you, whether it be illegal use, push, illegal hand check, whatever it may be, will then be a shooting foul. Now, after a shot's made, you're going to have rebounds. It happens. It's kind of a natural aspect of the game. And one thing you're going to see is what seems to be 700 people standing under the hoop doing this, jumping up and down, trying to get the ball. What you have to look out for is verticality. What that means is I'm standing here, and you can draw a little circle, sphere, box, whatever shape you want, and go straight up to the ceiling. And this space is my right. I have every right to this space. I can't reach out. That's not my right. If you reach out and hit somebody, then you're fouling, but anything I do within this space here is completely mine. I have the right to it. So if I'm standing here waiting for a rebound, and I don't touch anybody, and I reach over somebody else, and I don't make any contact, I can grab the ball over them and that's fine. There's no over the back penalties in basketball. What the penalty would be is if you're standing here and you move forward and push him, or you come down on top and you hit their arms, then that's going to be the foul. But just as I said, the rule of verticality states I have every right to my space. And the same thing goes for when you're driving into the lane as you're going in for a layup. If I'm airborne and somebody comes out underneath me, that's technically a foul, especially if there's contact made, because one, it's a safety issue, and we want to wrap those up real quick in intramurals, but two, he broke his verticality. Now, one thing that you're going to have to pay really close attention to is off-the-ball officiating. As the lead official, as I've gone over, you have your two positions. Your A, which is out by the three-point line extended, and your B. Now, what you want to look for, the ball, in this scenario, we'll say the ball is over by the three-point line on the far side, so you're going to be in position B. There's nobody to your right. There's a few people in the free throw lane, or the paint, or the bucket, whatever you're used to calling it, but there's people in this free throw lane right here, and your trail official is focusing over there on the ball like he should be. So what you need to watch for is, one, not the ball. When the ball is not in your PCA, personal coverage area, then you do not need to watch it all the time. There are 10 people on the court. If you have two officials watching the same 4 people around the basketball, that leaves 6 other guys completely unattended. So what you want to watch for here are off-the-ball fouls. One of the more common ones in intramurals, you'll have a guy posting up and he'll be backing into defender or defender, whichever way. But you'll have a guy down here trying to box out and he's pushing him back. Now, a box out does not involve pushing of any nature. A box out is when you seal off the hoop like this so that you have your space and he can't get around you. That's the intent of a box out. The box out is not to back out and push somebody out of the free throw lane. That's illegal and is a foul. So that's the kind of thing that you want to look for when you're lead down here on the end like this. Also, if you're out in position A, say the ball is outside the three-point line still, the ball's not in your coverage area, and you're out here, you've got 2 guys out here, you want to pay attention to these guys out here as well. It's kind of a little more tricky because you've got 2 areas to watch, it seems like, but you've got to open up your field of vision to see the whole court in your area. It's going to be a lot larger of a cone of view, if you will, when the ball is not in your area. But now let's say you're out here in position A, and the ball circles around, and it's right in front of you. Your field of view suddenly just got really small, and you're focused on everything right here. The trail official will then focus his attention to the free throw lane and everything else around. You need to focus on the 2, 3, 4 players that are in the immediate area of the ball. And as the ball shifts into the lane, which it inevitably will, you follow the ball into the lane, and now this becomes your coverage still. In scenarios like this, especially with a run and gun offense, or with a lot of shots going up that aren't going in, you're going to have maybe 7, 8, maybe all 10 players in the free throw lane right here. That's when it's imperative that you have 2 officials, both of your officials, or 3 if you're in 3-man coverage. You need to have all of your officials focused as diligently as possible in this paint area, free throw lane. So what you want to look for as a lead official, as I've said, you never want to look at the basket. That's not your responsibility, that's the trail's responsibility. So you want to be looking down, underneath, focusing on the rebounding. You know, watching people throw on elbows, backing people out of the free throw lane, different things like that they're trying to do to get an unfair advantage over the play. And as you're watching for those, you want to be sure to call them, even if they're not a popular call, even if they're not, you know, a well-received call. If it's the right call, you need to make it all the time. Alright, so the next part we're going to go over is a quick introduction to three-man mechanics. This isn't something that's going to happen a lot, but I want to give you guys an idea of what it will be like when you go into it. This is a very truncated version to keep it simple, easy to understand, and easy to work with. So there's ever 3 guys on one game, rather than have one guy sit out, we can all 3 work the game. It's pretty simple once you get used to it. The trail in our truncated version will be just like the trail in two-man mechanics. He'll be out here, beyond three-point arc, out in three-point land, if you will, and he'll be higher than the foul line extended for the most part. That's where you want to try to position yourself. You don't want to be way out here at half court, unless the ball is out here. But very rarely when there's play going on down there, you're going to be out here. You're going to be, you know, about this depth. You're going to work the arc, and you're going to stay pretty much between the basket line and the foul line extended. Will be your rough guidelines of where you want to be. Now the different part of three-man, the third man, is called the center. And he's going to be, if you look at the foul line, he's going to be right about the foul line extended on the opposite side from the trail. So he's going to be over here roughly, and he's going to be watching this zone. So the zone that the center has, looking at your PCAs, is he's got from the basket line out this way, pretty much. So you take roughly this half of the court, a little less, and that's what the center's going to have. So he's going to be over here, and the way we're going to transition with our intramural crews is if you're a center, you're going to stay a center. So when you go down to that end of the court, you're going to stay center and just stay on this side of the court. And then your lead and your trail will alternate. And then the lead, the last position to cover, is still going to have the same A and B responsibilities, where A is out here and B is right here for your 2 positions. But the more challenging part, that's going to be weird at first, is that you're going to be on the same side as your trail. So you're going to have your lead and your trail on the same side, and your center over there. Other than that, you're going to work like you normally would. The lead now has a PCA from the foul line extended this way to the 3-point line and to center line, basket line. Obviously you're not going to be extremely stingent about that. You're not going to say, oh, well it was on that side of the free throw lane, it's not my area, I'm not going to call it. If it's within reason to your area, you're going to call the foul or the violation or whatever happens. That's just the rough guidelines on what to do for three-man. Now with three-man, it's going to be a lot easier to do, be efficient during dead balls. That's something we need to work on in two-man as well. If I call a foul and I'm the lead, and I call a foul, you know, push, red, 25, I'm looking for the ball. What the trail can be doing is he's going around to find the ball to get it to me. That's good dead ball efficiency. While one of us is doing, you know, our job at the time, the other one who doesn't really have a job, it needs to be doing 2 things. One, watching the players, because if I'm focusing on trying to get the right call to the table, who's going to be watching all the 10 players? That's the trail's job, or the non-calling official. As well as finding the ball, but one old saying that I've heard quite a bit is, we've never lost a basketball during a game. No matter where it goes, someone's going to find it. We're there to watch a basketball game, there to play a basketball game. If we need to, we've got at least 13 people to go help us look for the ball. Now when you have a very intense game or a very supportive fan base for a team, there's the opportunity for disrespectful fans. When you get disrespectful fans, there's one trick that I use quite often that seems to really nip it in the bud in a hurry. If you're starting a game or you see the team coming in and you realize, well, these fans might get a little rowdy. You want to start early. And what you do is you stand over by the sidelines. Say you're the lead official, for example. You put the ball in play and you come stand way out here by the sidelines for a few seconds, especially if it's in the back court. So, basket scored, they're out of bounds, getting ready to go to their own front court. Stay out of bounds. And what you want to do is you want to say, excuse me, I need this space. This is my space. I need you to give me 3 feet from the court, please, to keep them off the court. Because one of the most dangerous things that can happen for disrespectful fans is that they can come onto the court and disrupt the game. Because then you have 10 players that are really into the game, that really want to play the game, who might get a little grumpy about that, and they, violence might ensue. So what you want to do is maintain, the magic number for me is 3 feet. Please, 3 feet off the court. I need 3 feet off the court so I can do my job. You want to always be at least 3 times as respectful as they are being disrespectful. You can stifle their attitude with respect. You don't have to talk to them. That's not your job. If they're being that much of a nuisance, you can stop the game. Stop the clock, go to the team captain and say, John, Sue, whoever, this game will not continue until you ask that fan to leave. Or this game will not continue, yada yada. Or if you don't feel comfortable doing that, go to your supervisor. Go to the person running the clock. But don't continue the game under dangerous circumstances like that. The supervisor is there to make sure the game goes well. And in most cases, I'd probably say all cases, the supervisor will be there if it's going to be if that specific court, it's going to be a very contested game. So, it shouldn't get to that point, but if it does, don't continue the game. Stop the game right there and get your supervisor. If you feel comfortable staying with the game, have the other official get the supervisor. If you don't, and the other official feels comfortable staying with the game, you go get the supervisor. And like I said, don't continue the game until the dangerous aspect of the game no longer exists. Now the aspect of the game that none of us like to see is when a player gets injured. If it's in the middle of a play, the protocol is this. If there's someone going in to shoot a shot and the injured player is not in the way of that shot, you let the shot go. You let play continue and you have one official stand by the player. Say there's an injury out here. Someone buckles their knee or something pops and they fall to the ground, but over there they're driving in for the shot. The trail official, if he's over there, will immediately rotate over to this player right here and stand right here, kind of protecting him, making sure nothing can hit him, getting in the way of any other dangers to the path. And you let the play continue into the basket for one shot. If the shot misses, immediately blow your whistle, stop the clock, stop the game completely, and then you attend to the injured person. Now, if there's a player just standing out there and an injury happens anywhere and there's no immediate play to the basket, you stop the clock and stop the game immediately. And then you go into rec center protocol, which as of now you would go get your supervisor and your supervisor would take care of it. But you always want to check with your supervisor beginning of every night to make sure you understand the protocol of what to do during an injury. So if anything changes, you want to make sure you know exactly what the supervisor wants you to do that night. Thank you very much for watching this video. Again, I'm Holden Parker doing this on behalf of the UMaine Intramural program at the Rec Center for basketball. This is 2015 and everything in this video is in accordance with the rules set forth by the National Federation for High School Sports Basketball for the year 2015. Thank you very much.